If you don't handle the things that you need to handle, eventually they're going to handle you. And if you really stop and think about that, the things that you leave undone, or you don't take care of, or you let get out of control, eventually it starts to control you. A cluttered house will destroy your body, even if you don't think that it matters, or you're like, well, I really like all of this stuff. Subconsciously, your nervous system and your body is saying, I'm stuck, because that's what that says. Your home is speaking to you, so it's telling you that you're stuck. And the more that you feel stuck, the more that you feel in fear, the more that you're going to live in a fight or flight mode. Because when you're stuck, you feel like you have no option. And then what happens is you start making decisions out of being desperate. And anytime you make a decision out of being desperate, the next decision is usually a very foolish one. So the opposite is an orderly space where you can breathe and you can feel good and you can make decisions from a place of clarity and a place of you're actually coming from a place of abundance, because it sounds like it's like an oxymoron, but the more simplified your space is, the more abundant you're going to feel, because you're allowing a flow to come in. So you have to get things handled before they get all out of control. Now, if they are all out of control, you're probably feeling it. You're probably, every time you walk in your home, it's telling you all of the things that you need to deal with, all the things that you forgot about, all the things that got out of control, like turned into a big old mess. And if you don't face and you don't confront those things, it's going to affect your relationships. It's going to affect the people around you. It's going to affect how you work, how you think. It affects how we eat, which affects our relationship with God. If you don't think that a toxic diet affects your relationship with God, you need to really, really look at what the Bible says about food, because the more toxins you're consuming, okay, this is why kids have behavioral issues when they're eating specific foods, or their dyes and chemicals in their bloodstream gives them behavioral issues. Well, what's a behavioral issue? They can't focus. They can't do things properly. They can't make good decisions. They're feeling anxious. They're feeling depressed. Food can make you feel depressed. It can make you feel anxious. It could also make you feel alive. It could make you feel um, vital. It could make you feel nourished. It could do the opposite. So if your home is triggering bad eating habits, which triggers more bad behavior because you can't think clear, you have to get to the root of the issue. Now, I'm not talking about therapy and all that stuff, which eventually you may want to figure out why you're doing what you're doing. But if you just start tackling your space and you just start tackling your surroundings, that in itself is going to start unpacking the stress in your mind. It's also going to start unpacking your body. You know, there was days in my life where I was just like this, and I'm like, my jaws clenched. I couldn't. You know, your body houses all of those emotions, and the thing is, the body remembers. It remembers how it felt for a long period of time. So if you're living chronically stressed or chronically anxious for a long period of time, even though you're trying to move on, your body might still be housing all of those feelings. And that turns into inflammation and cortisol, and then you're destroying your life, basically, is what's happening. You have to get things under control. The first step is to go through the process of elimination. You have to start eliminating the noise in your life. Okay? The noise could be clutter, it could be subscriptions, it could be the TV. We don't even have a TV because it's just extra noise. It could be the wrong relationships, bad relationships. It could be debt. You know, it could be just too much. It's too much. You have too much. You're so overly stimulated that you feel you're suffocating and you can't climb out of uh, of the suffocation because you're drowning in your old habits. But then you keep doing it. So you have to get things under control and stop going into the same habits that are going to produce more of the same. When you start putting a stop to the bad behavior, it's going to piss some people off. It's going to be super uncomfortable. But you have to wake up and say, enough is enough. I am not living this way anymore. And I'm not going to apologize or explain myself to everybody, because God designed us to flourish. And in order for you to flourish, you got to prune. You got to cut off the dead branches. You have to prune. And this takes it takes a lot of effort. You have to be willing to do it. You can't live in victim mode your whole life, and you got to do what needs to be done. Now, if you're having a hard time letting things go because you spent a lot of money on it, or you don't know where it goes, I would recommend starting with getting rid of the things that you know there's no emotional attachment. There's no monetary attachment. It just is. It's junk. And if it's under $30 and you can easily replace it, let it go. If it's a gift you don't like, something you haven't worn in a long time, let it go. Don't even put the energy into that. Now go through your home as many times as you need to until you get rid of that. That's like the first step, because that's going to build up the momentum. It's going to give you a really quick response that you're looking for, and then that momentum is going to turn into a positive feedback loop. The next step is going through the things that you're like, okay, maybe this stuff I can try to sell, or they're maybes. But I bet you once you get through that first step, the second step is you're the things that you think that you can't ever get rid of. You're going to be like, I don't even care anymore. This feels so good. I just got to get rid of it all. And you're going to wonder why you didn't do it sooner. And it becomes easier to let go, because remember, you're trading your life and you're trading your time for all of that stuff. And you don't want to live suffocated in a home full of stuff and thinking that if you just have more, you need more. A lot of times it's unopened things too, or half opened things, half used things we buy before we actually finish what we have. So maybe challenge yourself. For the next 90 days, I'm using what I have in my house, or I'm getting rid of it. I'm using this open package of skin cream, or I'm going to throw it away. I mean, at some point, just toss it. And if there's stuff that you can actually bless somebody with, then do that. But if it's half-used stuff, expired stuff, it's paper plates, plastic spoons, just random pieces of fabric, old gift bags, cords that you don't, just toss it or recycle it if you can. The more your home reminds you of being a loser, the more you're going to feel like a loser. And that's what happens, is a lot of this stuff just reminds you you're stuck. You got a bunch of junk. You got to take care of this. This is broke. You don't fit into this anymore. It used to be this weight. Now you're not. And, you have to start dealing with these things. Take the time you need. If you got to take a couple days off work to get through it, then do that. If you got to take a weekend and say no to family functions, then do that. Do what needs to be done to not only correct the behavior, but position yourself for a more vibrant you, a peaceful you, a refreshed you, somebody who can breathe and make decisions based on clarity and wisdom instead of being controlled by impulse and fear. And give yourself the time and space that you need to make those decisions. And if you're not willing to change, then you deserve the consequences from your behavior. That's really what it comes down to, is the more that you tolerate these things, the more you just, okay, then you get it. And, I don't waste my time trying to change people who don't want to change anymore. Okay, what a waste of time that is. They like the way that they live, and they want to argue with you to hold on to and justify how they live. And I know, because I was one of those people who was like, well, I like doing it this way. I'll never, credit cards are normal. I'm just going to live this way. And now I'm training myself, well, I don't want those results anymore. When you don't have debt, you have options. When you're healthy and you're eating healthy, your body is fueled properly, you can make clear decisions because it's not full of toxic chemicals. The toxic chemicals from fast food and seed oils and all that junk, that makes you make bad decisions. It makes you're depressed more. You don't feel as good. You're groggy. You go towards comfort because you're just trying to make yourself feel better. You're like, I don't feel good. So that becomes the first thing is, but if you already feel great, you don't have to spend all that time trying to make yourself feel better because you're like, oh, I already feel great. So now I can move on to the next thing. So don't keep sabotaging your own progress by holding on to habits that no longer serve you and holding on to things because you think it's comfort. All it is a relationship that you've made with food, with spending, with alcohol, with coffee. It's a relationship that you have, a bond that you have made that you need to break. And you need to say, I'm breaking this relationship because it's not serving me anymore. It's destroying me. And everything in you is going to be like, no, this is what you normally do. This is, this is your routine. This is your habit. This is how you live. This is you. So, because our subconscious is going to go to what's comfortable, our subconscious mind is going to bring us back to that place of comfort and familiarity. That was my last video, was talking about being always defaulting to what's familiar. This feels good. This is why I wear some of the same things over and over because it's comfortable and familiar, But in the other sense, it keeps my wardrobe quite small because I'm like, I'm not really going to wear that. And if I buy something I'm not going to wear, I'm wasting money. So you have to really gain control if it's not serving you. Now, my minimal wardrobe serves me, so I'm keeping it that way. I've taken out the guessing and all of the options in what am I going to wear today, because it becomes easy, so I can move on from that step to the next step. And when you do that, when you take out those options like food, you buy 10 or 12 things every week until you start expanding your healthy diet, your whole food, clean diet. But it takes the guesswork out. So now I'm dressed and I had a good breakfast and I took the guesswork out. It didn't take an hour to figure out what am I going to eat and what am I going to wear and what am I going to do. Like, so much time is wasted in that. And so you have to, that's why having less things but better, having less items but actually items that you love, makes your life so much easier. Because when you have less but better, you're not rotating, you're not in the fuzziness of, should I keep this, should I get rid of it, do I kind of like this, should I donate, should I sell? Because how much time and energy is spent in that space? Should I keep, should I get rid of, should I donate, should I sell, what do I do with this? I spent money on it, I don't know, I better look at it, I better try it on. If you haven't worn it, you haven't used it, you don't love it, let it go. You got to ask yourself, what do you want more of? You want freedom, peace, abundance, simplicity? You want a life that's like living by design instead of default? Do you want that, or do you want stuff, anxiety, depression, living by default, living by old habits, controlled by impulse? What do you want? Because the fruits of the Spirit take developing. They take effort. They take going against the grain, self-discipline, self-control. I know self-discipline is not one, but self-control is patience. These are things that you have to develop. You have to go through the process and develop them. If you're always going to what's easy and what's comfortable, eventually it catches up to you and you realize, wow, I've wasted 5 or 10 years doing what's easy and comfortable, and now I'm overweight, out of shape, inflamed, can't sleep, hormones messed up, hair falling out. I got so much stuff I don't even care about. I hate my job. I hate where I live. You will end up being a result of all of those decisions. You will end up being it all catches up. It all catches up. And when you start making the changes, even though you're starting to make the changes, or you've made the decision to make the changes, you will still live in the residual of your past self, because you can make the changes but you're still living in the home or the place that you don't like until you move out. You could make the changes of cleaning up your eating, but your body's not going to respond right away. You're training it now to be a certain way. You can make the changes in your spending, but you still might have to pay off debt from your previous decisions that you were making. So give yourself that time in between and be realistic. I say to break things up into 90 days. Go as fast as you can in that 90 days on that one goal. And then if it takes an extra 90 days, so be it. You just keep going and knocking out that one thing as quickly as you can, while you're obviously still living life. But keep in mind that if you are, like, for right now, we're not going out to eat. And we will go out to eat one time when we reach a certain goal after we pay off a certain amount. I've made it into a goal. But I know some people who they're like, well, I'm paying off my debt, but I'm still going to eat out once a week. Well, it's going to take you longer to pay off the debt. If you're trying to lose weight and you're still eating out, it's going to take you longer to get in shape. So don't self-sabotage it. Just do what needs to be done. And if you need to give yourself one day a week to have a break, then do that. One day a week, have a treat. Or one day a week, celebrate your wins. That's fine. But just keep in mind that you're in control of how long it takes.